We are back for round 2 at Prairie Dunes. And this real life course is proving to be quite difficult. We got out to a strong start, had some not issues, but just found the par train, and then the par train is the big thing that we want to try and stay off of. That doesn't mean we want bogeys, but we want to be able to try and find as many birdies, maybe find an eagle out there if we can. But we're playing off the back tees here in round 2. We've got high winds out of the northeast. The fairways and greens are default, which is some variant of firm. But the greens slowed down here to moderate. So if we can dial things in, I mean, it all comes down to the course, because we've played in high winds. Firm, and moderate is not like the craziest of conditions. But got to be able to get it close enough to make the putt, and ultimately that's what it boils down to. Getting it nice and comfortably on the green, fairways and greens, and then just get that putter heated up. So if you're watching over on YouTube and you've been enjoying these rounds, please consider dropping a sub and a like on the video and the channel. It goes a long way. But without further ado, we are off into the races. Trying to, we got to, what, 10 under yesterday, with definitely the opportunity for a bit more. Kind of an interesting tournament thus far, in that there are definitely some higher scores at the top, but it falls off very quickly. So it's just one of those courses that can very easily get you just finding pars. I don't think it's one that's going to give up a lot of double bogeys. Maybe a little bit of bogey here and there. Need a Colby recording emote? I mean, you can use ones that you've got. I don't mind. The thing is, like, I encourage the chatting. I am very much so okay with people talking. Hey, what's going on, Lockstead? Welcome back. Alright, that's gonna come up a little bit shorter. And that's what I'm talking about. Even on moderates, you've got to have your distance control. That came up quite a bit shorter than I expected it to. And as you see, all of a sudden, you are off of the green. The crazy part is I'm almost considering putting this. You give it a lot of power, it wouldn't turn over a lot, maybe right up towards the top. Don't think we have a fringe here. Still a little bit firm. But with it being so uphill, I don't know, with how tight that is, I didn't really trust hitting the chip shot with that slope there. Kind of a funky green, though. We're sitting in a little bit of a valley. I feel like you have to hit this firm and straight and hope that it does, like... That's just nasty. That's just nasty. We're sitting in a valley with, like, a little bit of break there. I don't love that. I don't love that. I know you always say don't love bogey on the first. I don't love taking bogey that way. And I know I didn't hit that quite straight, but that definitely broke and wasn't like a... That wasn't from the push. But, you know, it happens. It's just always about how do you rally back. And I think you rally back with a shot like this. All right, I'm not gonna take it for granted. I'm not gonna take it for granted. We're gonna look at it. Because, like, after that last one, we can't take it for granted. All right, so even through two, problem solved. No OB around here. It's 359, and that would give us a long... Give us the long flop. Downhill to 320. We can definitely get long enough. I don't know, like, is there too much risk going long here? Plenty of light rough in sight. 320. The wind's only playing a little bit, but downhill definitely should play a few yards. So I can get this out into like the 340s pretty easily. Bounce it into there. I'll just play full backspin. See what we can do with it. Little bit slow, so we're gonna fade, but I'm also, I think, in the back of my mind, a little bit scared about getting too far to the left. Alright, so now we get to that long flop. It might even... Or long splash, long flop. Flop is actually potentially a little bit too far. Okay, so if we take splash shot here, 90% is right at the hole, 80% is obviously a few yards short of it. I'm trying to think. It's a little bit uphill. How do you want to play this? I think you give it just a little bit off. Just give it a chance to go potentially a little bit long. But you don't want it to be mega short. Ah, slowed it. Gosh darn it. Not often am I ever taking that full splash shot, and I think I was scared that the regular input was going to be too fast, and so pulled off of it a little bit, but clearly it was way too much to take off there. So that's definitely less than ideal. Now we've got this downhill putt to try and make birdie. And it's definitely makeable, but it's certainly going to be tough. I didn't hit it hard enough. I must have hit it just like a percent under. Oh, that stings. That stings for sure. Had the line. Had the line and everything. Alright, 180, get like 10 in. It's definitely, I don't think I'm gonna quite play 170. Maybe with the angle here it would. Maybe with the angle here it would. So let's give enough respect to it. Can I actually give it a little bit of D-loft and topspin? Try and use that backstop. Like at a worst case scenario. I guess the only thing with that thought process is you've got 134 greens. So there is a little bit of concern trying to use a backstop. Like, it has to be pretty steep. Alright, I'm not gonna take off as much power here. There we go. So that last one, we learned. We learned. We missed that last one, had the right read on it. So we got to trust the reads that we've got at the moment, but make sure that we're just gauging the power correctly. All right, so turning the tides in our favor here. A little bit slower start than yesterday, but ball striking is pretty good. Ultimately just off a little bit on some of these wind reads. Just a little bit off on some of these putt powers, but just got to keep our head down. Keep trying to grind it out. Playing the low 160s, 5 yards. It's firm, then slower. So I'll just play like a touch on it. Let this work its way back to the green. Can't be slowing it out that way, though. That's so bad. And I think that must have counted as a fairway hit because of the way that that bounced and rolled out. That doesn't seem right for landing on the green unless maybe that downslope is what does it. All right, so we've got to be mindful here. Something like this is probably fine. Gotta add quite a bit, to be honest. Underhit it. Gosh darn it. I don't know what's getting in my head on some of these, but like the last thought that goes through my head is, all right, gotta make sure that you get the right power, and then somehow that just throws everything off. Somehow the thought of making sure I hit my power means that I don't hit my power. Like, I don't want to be telling my brain to not hit the power, you know? That seems kind of backwards. 313. Probably into the 320s, 330s. Man, you can definitely get this down there a good ways. Is it 360? I'm going for it. I hit it OB. I didn't think we were gonna hit it that fast, though. Yeah, there's the brain on the follow-up one. I really trusted myself to do it. I really trusted myself to do it. Gosh darn it. I thought we had the play. I thought we had it in us. I was feeling it. Now my brain is just not gonna let the perfect happen. It's just gonna put us at slow every time. Oh man. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have to steady the ship again. Cause now we've given strokes away. Oh man, Colby. At least we save bogey, right? Don't want to be adding to McTreese's double stat, but even through 6, I mean, it just goes to show you like how this course can bite you. You know, it's very easy to get baited into things or have a miss and go OB, or you know, have these greens get to you. So let's buckle in. Let's try and get something good going on this par 5 and fix things up a bit. How about that? I lofted it too much. Or put too much spin on it, I guess. Just trying to land it back towards this. I mean, this is at least below the hole. So it gives us a chance. You get a little bit of double break going up it. So as long as we can get the right feed in here. No! I had it, and then it actually broke. Alright. I mean, we can still do something pretty great the rest of the way. And the beauty of it is it's a 4-round tournament, right? At the end of the day, that is the biggest takeaway. You were not done in completely by one set of holes. I mean, obviously, if you butcher multiple rounds, then yeah, probably. But a few holes stretch. It's law of averages. Ultimately, it is law of averages. We want to make sure that we're up here. This wind probably plays us back. I don't want to like loft it too much. So we'll just give it a touch. We'll just give it a touch. 'Cause I think that's all it needs. I mean, distance is on point there, but now you got to bring the putt home. Now you got to bring the putt home. And, like, look how much that's turning. Now the question is this... Come on. There's the adjustment. Back-to-back birdies for the first time. Fire me up. Cool. We can make it 3 in a row going into the turn. You know, at the end of the day, the scores can come in any way, right? If you birdie out, now this is just theoretically, right? But you could go 12 under in any number of ways. You know, we went 10 under yesterday, and we had 6 birdies in the first 7 holes. But you could just the same way, you could shoot 10 under and be par through 8 and birdie out 9 through 18, or you could be like I normally am and be like 8 under to start and finish at 11 under, you know, and you're 8 under through 9, and then you end with 3 birdies the rest of the way. So it can definitely get done in a multitude of ways. With this much wind at the back, I always struggle to know. Do you try and pitch it? Because the pitch is definitely going to come up a little bit short. Wind is still going to play a bit, but then you get maybe a hop and stop. Whereas the other option is try and play your lob wedge. And I feel like lob wedge just always speaks to me a little bit more. I just don't trust my pitch tempo as much. But pitch is definitely way less in terms of... Hey, man. Gosh darn it. The pitch is always just, like, that's such a variable to me. But when you make these decisions, like, you gotta execute at the end of the day. Use the wind, don't fight it. Yeah, I gotta do a better job about getting those, like, long pitches in, even with tailwinds. It's gotta just be outside the number here. Cool. That was weird. Like, at the start, it almost felt like it somehow started outside. So, 3 under going out, it happens. But, you know, we got there. It could have been a lot worse. I think we're showing good fight. Maybe not great decision making and great execution across the board here, but yeah, score's a score. You know, the order in which it comes and how it comes. That's always up for Gosh darn it, man. That slow just always seems to be creeping in a little bit much these days. I think that's just when my brain is fighting off what feels like could be a fast. I didn't hit it firm enough. I missed it by like 1%. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. You gotta hit it. You gotta hit it. All right, we're gonna take that one quick. It's a long par 4 here, but it's all about just getting into the fairway. Wind's in like 9. It's not gonna quite play 9. I mean, by the time we aim it, I guess maybe it is getting close to that 9 spot. So tough because, like, you want to be on the green, but you also don't want to lose this shot. Yeah, I can't land it much shorter with much confidence. That's the hard part, but you've got to take a 6-iron in. 20-footer? Eh. Definitely dream of better than that. Why does it feel like these greens are lying to me? Okay. Let's reread this because feels like this. I think this is what was throwing me off. This feels like it creeps kind of the other way. I guess this is still playing more. Such a weird putt. Yeah, and like right there you can see how it just kind of broke through everything. I don't know if that's just its more break out on the outside. But it just highlights my inability to make putts. Some weird greens though on that. And I know that some of that is a product of these being LiDAR greens. LiDAR greens are always going to have just that little bit extra propensity. See, that changes a lot, because all of a sudden that wind playing in is potentially big time. Okay. Fast keeping us left and long, but at least the D-loft read was good. 12-footer still has a chance. It's just this guy starts to break a little bit more as we go outside here to the left. Oh, come on. Thank goodness. What's going on, Albino? Think LiDAR greens pick up some directional grain? I don't know that, because I don't know to what detail the game engine would be able to translate that, so I want to say no. But I also know that, you know, a lot of times these LiDARs, you know, like I know McTree's with this port, you know, he went in and flattened some stuff out and made it so that it plays to the green settings that the game utilizes. Like the LiDARs don't naturally translate well. But as far as that goes with like graining, like grain direction stuff, I wouldn't think that the game even has the capability to process any of that. So we have to hit a pitch here. But this is very difficult. This is very, very difficult. So like we're all the way down here. How far is anything gonna play? Is the real question. sure as heck hope that this read is correct. Have the backstop? What backstop? It all runs away to the right if I go long. Watch. Oh, that's a huge shot. Absolutely massive. I hate how much that breaks in such a short amount of time because I'm so uncomfortable aiming it where I did. I am so uncomfortable aiming it where I did. I'm looking at it and I was like, if this thing just blazes by high side, I'm gonna be so upset. You know, it's funny with the way that these distances play in this game. We have a lot of opportunities to just send it. Now, I know we got ourselves into trouble before, so I'm not going to go for the overpower. But 321, 331, wind in the back, into the 350s. And then just bound it down. Maybe we can find fairway. I mean, definitely try and split the gap there. If we end up in the light rough or the bunker, is not too bad. Like, this is just some of these holes with the amount of light rough that there is. My value of the fairway, as much as I love it, having a fairway shot from 100 something versus, like, I'm starting to grow a little bit more okay with the light rough on a pitch. Because you're only losing like 3 yards. But this is definitely a tough one. Because we're kind of in that spot of I can fully loft this. Like full loft, full backspin, probably land it like here. And it's just a matter of how big is the hop going to be and how much backspin would it actually generate. Moderates and uphill. We might have to get some ground game going. We might have to get some ground game going. Four foot uphill though. Hey, thank you, Albino. Appreciate it. I have this like weird. I'm so in between on these because I feel like the gap wedge. I feel like the gap wedge could be it. I don't want to go long is the big thing. I'm gonna go gap wedge on it. Gonna go gap wedge. Because it should land somewhere in here. Bounce and start rolling. If it's a little bit short, it's okay. You want to have a chance at it, but you also don't want to just completely lose it, so. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So there's a very subtle thing that I did there, and I made sure to go for the big fast as opposed to the perfect because the fast gets a little bit more rollout. If I go for the perfect, I know that I'm pretty much consigning myself to, like, or conceding that it's gonna be short. So the fast gets a little bit more left than I account for, but ultimately I think that that's the play that we have to be making there. This is such a tough shot. Okay. Especially because the amount of shot shape that they allow you to play is minimal. Because I think 4-iron, the way that this is playing, what I would love to do is play maybe a little bit of cut. Like, just play a little bit of cut into it. I think we can work this through. A little bit too far to the right. And still rolls through. It's the right idea, just starts a little bit right of where we want it, and then you still get that big release, which is kind of crazy. I guess it's that firm bounce, despite the moderate greens and the wind in the face. I made an adjustment out to the right and still low on that. It's so hard. It's so hard when you're trying to break a putt in from the top. I feel like with the way these greens always play in this game is like if you have to drop it in from like that, 8:30, 9 o'clock or 3:30, 3 o'clock kind of angle, I feel like your chances of making it are so slim. I know that the hole is the same width no matter what angle you go, but I feel like the more break, it's just so much harder to hit that exact spot. Because I feel like the amount of pace that you have to hit with to hit it anywhere lower on the clock face, so to speak, you are like unplayable. So you have to play it slower and from the high side, and it very, very hard to gauge. So you get like an 11-mile-an-hour wind here. We're gonna play definitely stronger into it. So maybe even just play something here. Good distance, it just didn't really cut back. Pin high, though. JDK, thank you very much for the sub. Appreciate it. Those are video game shots, Yava. How you doing, man? Welcome back. Yeah, or at least, like, you see them sometimes in real life, but, like, they're not the common putt. You know? The frequency that we see those sorts of putts on these courses is way higher. I feel like when you find those putts, a lot of times you're like super out of position in real life. In this game, you don't have to be super out of position. Did we leak? We did. That fairway kicks to the right. That's going to take away our ability to get there too. I think even with the perfect, that probably runs out. Hey, what's going on, Bobo? How's it going? All right, still reachable. We've got that going for us at least. Upper 220s, maybe right around pin high. It's going to be an interesting one because we full loft this 235, but then that brings us more in only the 12-yard loss. So 23, a little bit short. Maybe if we try and cut it just a touch up against the wind. Brought it back a touch left because I just felt like we were leaking too far to the right. Apparently we weren't, but I just felt like that wind was gonna get completely annihilated. So much break early on. All right. Is this enough break? That's always the ultimate question. And at least this time it feels like it does have a chance. And give it just a little bit more. Come on, let's get to one more. We can have 2 10s, which is like way better than it looked like it could have been at the start here. So I know we're definitely falling down the leaderboard. Not a strong second round showing, but a very good fight. A very good fight to bring it back. You know, obviously we can look in hindsight and not go for that one hole. You know, that's a pretty stupid bogey to take. But course is just tough, and we're, you know, just enough off when it requires extreme precision and some better putting. So have to continue to accept our fate. All right, go somewhere like here. Wind's gonna cut in just a little bit, take a few more yards off. Stop hitting it slow, Colby. Stop hitting it so slow. Don't know where that comes from, but that's our miss at the moment. These are so painful. Like I don't know how you approach these with any form of consistency because it's so dependent on what does this early break play like. All right, that was a weird 10. That was a weird 10. Very, very slow start. But we're able to rally a bit. I know we're dropping down the leaderboard. I get it. It's definitely not ideal. But a pair of 10s still is T33 on PlayStation. Gonna put us easily back into the 40s or 50s. But the big thing, anytime that we have rounds that we're not happy with, the biggest thing is that we're not falling so far that we're flirting with the bottom 20%. So we're comfortably mid-pack. Definitely have it in us, you know, to keep working it back. But yeah, definitely a little bit of a reality check. Like have to work that tempo out. But I like the way that we fought back even through 6 to finish at 10 under. You know, do the math. That's 10 under through 12 holes. So it's definitely a very good finish to that. So that's round 2 in the books. We'll see what moving day brings us tomorrow.